not only in Mount Rushmore, faces of gods on the holy rock of the Acropolis of Athens and in mountains of Greece in images. Rock shapes or rock faces, random artworks of nature, or are they of the artworks of nature or of man? Natural formations that deceive the human eye. Did people make them? Aliens or UFOs? The first one is the Acropolis of Athens. Is it a human construction or a toy of nature? The forms that appear on the rock of the Acropolis, at the base of the Acropolis, the Parthenon, and it's visible from the city underneath. With careful observation, one with sharp eyesight will distinguish other 10 to 11 forms. From researchers that have been done in the drawers of history, in books and in archaeology dictionaries, they have not been able to discover the slightest reference to the sculptures of faces that appear on the rock of the Acropolis. But we have mystery with faces on sacred rock of the Acropolis and on mountains all throughout Greece. It's been said about a person who is the most obvious that he pre-existed the construction of the Parthenon, that is, in the pre-classical era. Other theories place these sculptures in the Pelasgian era. The most perhaps innovative view is one that wants one of the persons to pretend to be Zeus or even Pericles, the Athenian who made the plans and constructed the Parthenon. The most vain view, however, is to portray Phidias carved by his own students. Then we have the mountain near Sparta in Greece, Taygetus, the mystery with faces and the sacred rock of the mountains. In the mountain Taygetus, which has a pyramid on top of it, with faces on that sacred rock on the mountains. Photos taken from 1996. In Taygetus, we meet a plethora of rock sculptures that really, if nothing else, are problematic. Starting at the foot of the mountain, if we observe well, we'll see the head of a dog that looks almost upward. If we follow his gaze, we'll discover a head that has a crown with antelope horns. This person is facing the sky, and next to his left we can see another face without other special features that also looks almost upwards. On the left backwards, we can easily distinguish well-known geometric shapes, a pyramid. Much has been said and written about this pyramid as well, many theories to mention. Among other things, the sacred mountain is a secular center like Delphi was. In other words, it's an umbilicus through which an imaginary axis passes, which if we extend to the universe meets the constellation of the Pleiades. Then we have Surmina, the mystery of the faces of the sacred rock there. On the top of the hill of Surmina, the whole top of the hill is crowned heads that look at the sky and can be seen from the church of St. Constantine in Iglifada as well. Then in Leonidion, in the Peloponnese, on the road from Leonidion to Sparta, reminds me of a woman sitting. Only with a little imagination can we assume different things. However, in the surrounding area, there are traditions of fairies and elves as well, even today. It's located on the road from Leonidion to Sparta before St. Vasilius. Then in the island of Zakynthos, Zante, the mystery with faces on the sacred rock on the mountains, an anthropomorphic person who seems to be looking sadly at the bottom of the sea somewhere in Zakynthos. And then the island of Milos. If you go to Milos and travel around the island by boat, you will see rocks rising up to 10 meters high through the sea. You will see immediately and notice that their shapes resemble animals. And these rocks seem to have a body with a head at the top with a mouth open. In many maps, they are also referred to as Venetians. It has been established, however, that these rocks are called bears. The familiar figures of these adorable animals given by the rocks are natural formations. No one seems to have fooled them. And the mystery with faces on the sacred rock of the mountains. One of the bears, we must note that where the chin ends begins the forehead of a human face, which is very clear, reminiscent of a mask of ancient tragedy, of ancient Greece. All in all, it brings to mind the classical figure of Hercules with the lion's head on his head. And how about a coincidence? How big a coincidence can there be on a rock where there are two figures resembling an animal and a human face formed by windswept waves, winds, rains, and in general by the various conditions prevailing in nature. And more complex performances, the mystery with faces of the sacred rock on the mountains. At first glance, the design created on the rock is not that easy to see. However, thanks to the sketching that has been done, we can very easily understand what is depicted. What we see looks like a vertical section of a cockpit or other aircraft or just a boat. However, it strongly resembles some specific statues, such as one depicted exactly. Then we still keep the Archaeological Museum of Istanbul map of Samothrace, the mystery of faces on the sacred rock of the mountains. Another notable case is the Paleopolis of Samothrace. Inside the archaeological site, there is an enigmatic rock, which is part of a wall and has a shape similar to the shape shown in modern maps of the island of Samothrace. The similarity is amazing. According to archaeologists, the rock is about the same age as the statue of Nike Samothrace between 3rd and 4th century BC. The rock map obviously has nothing to do with the shape and volume of the other building blocks. The diameter of the rock is 1 meter, while the others are much smaller. It's unknown who placed it there and why. It's also unknown whether it was deliberately carved to take the shape of the island or whether it was mined or found. Olympus, the mystery with faces on the sacred rock of Mount Olympus. Located at Mount Olympus, what can we say? The picture says it all, but surely no one can say for sure if it is the head of Zeus and his throne. And of course, everything we presented is not unique. There are many more. But what could this be? 1. Sculptures. In order to say with certainty that these are human constructions, studies must be made regarding the plasticity of these faces. That is, there should be no disproportion in the distance of the eyes around the nose or ears, to have a ratio of the nose, mouth, forehead, etc. 2. Parade, a natural formation that in our eyes seems to remind us of a face that is natural because of the movement we are born. Our brain is in the pareidolia. As a person gets older, this recognition mechanism becomes so effective that it can easily distinguish a person from other details. From a children's painting, a circle of the head, eye circles, and simple lines that form the rest of the body, to seeing faces or human figures where they do not exist, as we subconsciously try to see a face only from shadows and light. 3. The place has personality. Ancient peoples considered nature to be inherent and living, alive, as in the mind. It also has been said that a place records and reproduces events. Possibly, then, nature can also create as an artist, especially in a space that has always been considered sacred by humans. It can be argued that all of these forms constitute a natural reaction opposition of the rock in some situations, as we could say that this place had a specific personality. That is, when the Parthenon was transformed into a church of St. Sophia during the reign of Justinian and later of the Virgin, the rock wanted, and with the help of weather phenomena to capture its point of view, forming over the years these figures in order to state its opposition. These figures may have been altered later, either during the campaign of Venetian Francis Morosini in 1867 or during the catastrophes that took place during the Greek Revolution around that time. And this I've translated for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.